we're going to be doing an exclusive Soul Rising course preview, and we're going to be taking you behind the scenes today and showing you a little bit of what it's like to actually be in a class with us. So, really excited to get started. I know that we're both so excited about this program in particular because it's one of the first times that we've done something that's really, really focused and honed in on that self-healing. All of our programs have that basis in the chakras and in Reiki and in self-healing, but this is the first time that we've really done a course that is really focused on allowing anyone and everyone to be able to join, no matter how experienced you are in your spiritual path, or if you're just starting, or if you're in the middle of your dark night of the soul, or wherever you are in your journey. We really wanted to cultivate this particular course to be accessible for everyone. And I feel like we've done such an amazing job of that. And with, the assessments that we've gotten from our past students and the feedback and doing all of this trial and error in our other courses, I feel like we've really made something amazing. And I know that, of course, Christine and I are going to sound a little biased when we talk about that, but we're also, we're in the sphere, right? Like, we're constantly doing our continuing education, and we're constantly looking at how can we improve and how can we be better. And so this isn't just me saying this because I teach in the program. It truly is. I have never seen anything else quite like the way we do it here at Reiki Cafe, and just that intensity of connection and communication and support and accountability and like all of the things that we bring to the table is just, as a teacher, it's astounding to see, because I love watching that transformation from our first call that we have, our welcome call. Everybody comes in and you're a little shy and you're a little nervous and you're like, there's other people looking at me. And then by the end of the course, it's like, these are my people. I can tell these people anything and everything. It doesn't matter how weird it would have sounded at the start. It doesn't matter if it's sensitive, if it's personal, if it's general, if it was a dream I had. It doesn't matter. I can tell these people anything and everything. And watching that transformation is so powerful, I think. And it's my personal favorite part of the courses, because it's not only is it watching you step into your truth and into being empowered to be able to stand in who you are and really show up for yourself and show up in a group of people, but it's also watching these soul level bonds being formed as you guys are learning and as you're doing that self-healing. And those are bonds that I don't think you get anywhere else. And so it's really, really fun to be able to watch them form. So I'm hoping for those of you who are watching us on Facebook, those of you on Zoom, that we'll kind of start making a little bit of that magic tonight is my goal for our time together.
Yes, 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 yes. So how we're going to start this is very similar to how we'd start a class, especially the very first class. And we are going to open this up to you sharing your name. Like, feel free to take yourself off of mute, share your name, where you are in your Reiki education, if you have started your Reiki journey yet, as well as one thing you love about yourself. And the reason why I ask that is because we so often forget to shine a light on the parts of ourselves that we love, and we want to celebrate those with you. So, once again, your name, where you are in your Reiki journey. So, let's try to keep it short, like under 60 seconds. And then one thing you love about yourself. So,
Beautiful. I met Christine. Can we hear yours?
I know, I was just gonna go, and I'm Christine Renee. So many of you know me. I have been doing Reiki for a very long time, since 2002. I was trained at a birth center in kind of more of a mentorship role for about 3 months. I got my Reiki master teacher training in 2004. I started teaching in 2009 when I kind of redid some of my training. And I've been doing shamanic work now for about 15 years. One thing I love about myself is that I'm a helper. I love teaching. I love helping. I love supporting. And I see that in myself often, whether that's just holding a door open for someone or running over to a student's house, both of which I've done today. So, um, I love sharing, and I love observing growth and being among people who are invested in spiritual and personal growth. I love it. How about you,
Beautiful.
Izzy?
I'm Isabel Wells. I tend to go by Izzy in the Reiki Cafe community, but people ask me all the time which I prefer, and I really don't have a preference. Whatever you prefer, that is what I will be called. But I go by Izzy, and I've been a Reiki practitioner for I don't even remember how many years now. I feel like my spiritual path has been quite long and winding. I started getting really into things like traditional Chinese medicine and holistic healing when I was 16 and dealing with some really, really severe health issues. I grew up training to be a classical ballet dancer, and I ended up having to stop dancing because of those health issues. And that process of learning and leaning into alternative medicines when Western medicine wasn't able to help me really led me to Reiki, and then into a deeper understanding of the chakras, and then reading into, psychology and healing trauma. And so I ended up going to school for nursing and psychology to learn more about that trauma connection. And along the way, picked up all of these amazing spiritual modalities that I teach at Reiki Cafe, the Reiki and the shamanism and channeling and intuitive connection and soul speak and all of the things. I'd like to call myself a jack of all trades, and I'm incredibly blessed and grateful to be able to show up in a space and have a job and do this work that allows me to wear all of those hats in a single day. And be an administrator and a communications director and a teacher and a practitioner and all of these things in one. It's a really astounding and very humbling experience, and so I'm grateful to you all for allowing me to have that. And let's see, one thing I love about myself, I've really been leaning into how committed I can be recently, whether that's committed to a person who, like Christine was saying, needs help, committed to our students and helping them rise up and really find their intuition and find their power, committed to a task that I'm working on. I love how deeply I will put myself into something that is, aligned and that my soul is calling me to.
Yes. And you do that so well, so gracefully. So thanks for being a part of Reiki Cafe University. We love you. I really have to say that if we wouldn't be where we are today without Izzy's help, like she really is the alchemist. So we have numerous mentors over here at Reiki Cafe, and you've met many of them. And we recently kind of have oriented ourselves towards the directions. And Izzy tends to call me the visionary, and I call her the alchemist because I have really big visions and I know what I see is coming and how I'm going to manifest it. And then she brings in the details and makes the ball rolling. And she's kind of my task manager more than anything. Like, I'm like, Izzy, what am I supposed to be doing today? Like I'm up here in visionary world, and she helps keep me on track. So I just have a lot of gratitude for Izzy being a part of all of this. And then we also have two others who are contributing. You probably have recognized Chantel. She is on so many of our things. She was with us last night. She is our mystic in our group of the directions. And she plays that role really well. And she is a fantastic mentor and teacher as well. And then we have another who stands in the role of guardian, and she is to the north. And she really helps us more on the energetic sides of things to help us stay grounded and connected. And so we really honor the spirits from the north that she embodies for us here at Reiki Cafe University. And with that, this is a perfect time to kind of transition into, we'd like to call in the directions. And as we do this, I'm going to welcome you to really honor, like, under where are the cardinal directions orientated towards how you're sitting right now. So just take a moment and take a deep breath and kind of go, okay, this is north, this is east, like where are you at? And oftentimes when I go into a new place, it takes me a hot minute to go, oh, where am I? So take a moment, feel into where your directions are.
And if you don't know and you have an iPhone, I believe iPhones still come with a compass app. So you can open up your compass and find out where the directions are for you.
Have used it more than once. So grateful for that app. Like we just need to know where the directions are. And we are going to call in the directions. When I say I'm calling in the directions, I'm calling in the spirit, the power of that directions, and just honoring them. They're always there with us. And now we're giving honor to them of going, thank you for being here. I'm in my free will. I'm accepting your presence into my space, and I'm welcoming the gifts that you offer. Right. So as I call in the directions, you're welcome to face that directions, place your hands up to the directions, just calling them forward, whatever feels good to you. And if you want to just sit quietly with your hands in your lap, that is absolutely okay. So whatever you're comfortable with, whatever's going to help you come into a centered space. And that's really what we're looking for, knowing that we have these guides, our ancestors, these loved ones on the other side of the veil who want to support us in our work together. And so this is part of like a demonstration, because I want you to know, like, this is very much part of how we do our coursework. So I'm just going to invite everyone to bring their hands to heart center and gasho. And we're going to take 3 nice deep breaths. We're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And we're really blowing. We're blowing out what no longer serves us. Anything that needs to be let go of in this time, in this moment. Release, release, release. And then we're going to take 3 nice deep breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose to tune into the energy. Feeling our heart center, feeling our physical body, orientating to this group, to the directions. And we start by turning towards the east. We welcome the spirits of the east, the rising of the sun, a breath of fresh air. We ask that the east bring in new opportunities, new life, and to blow out the cobwebs in our life. Help that wind come in and rejuvenate us. Help us feel refreshed, renewed, revitalized. Bring in that energy and passion as we dance and play in the air. We welcome the spirits of the east. And then orientating to the south, we welcome the spirits of the south. With your fire, power, passion, and motivation, we welcome the spirits of the south who know us well to help us fully express our truth, to let that fire burn away what no longer serves us, and to use that fire to illuminate the path forward, to shine a light on our journey. We ask that the fire be fully present, to release what no longer serves us, to really let those thoughts, the negative thoughts in our minds, the clutter that takes up, we ask that it go all to the fire this evening so that we can be clear and open, and to allow that light to shine anew, to shine brightly, to be a force that we can fully feel our motivation and passion and purpose as we walk this life journey. We welcome the spirits of the south. Turning to the west, we welcome the spirits of the west with the cool and calming waters that wash away, soothingly nurturing us, letting things go down the water, hearing the ocean, hearing the creek, hearing the waterfall, letting us dive into waters far off from familiar shores and to awaken our intuition. Help us to find those easy currents that sweep us to the information that we seek, knowing that we can play and experience the delight of the waters. We welcome the spirits of the west. Orientating to the north, we welcome the spirits of the north, the earth, the mountain, the strength, the courage. We welcome in the spirit of buffalo, who knows when to walk into the storm, to be in touch with earth energy, to know when to be calm and when to run. We welcome our loving ancestors who bring us their wisdoms from the ancient times, to know that we can be strong, that they give us so many gifts, so many offerings to help us in this lifetime. We welcome the strength, the earth energy. We welcome the spirits of the north. Directing our energy below, we welcome the spirits from below. With the two-legged ones, the four-legged ones, the finned ones, the feathered ones, the slithery ones, and the creepy crawly ones. We welcome in our power animals and those mythical creatures. We honor the earth and what she offers us. We offer all the layers of the physical earth that are beneath our feet, the foundation, the topsoil, the rocks, the deep earth. Feeling our energy connected, grounded to this earth, and knowing that we are supported in both this physical reality of having nourishment from the earth and from the spiritual world of the earth with all of our power animals. We welcome the spirits from below. Orientating above, we welcome the spirits from above with the moon, sun, and stars, and the cosmos of the sky. We welcome in our spirit guides, our guardian angels, our Reiki guides, our ascended masters, those compassionate love and light entities to join with us, to help us know that we are safe in doing this work, to fully hear spirit, to hear divine intelligence, the whispers from above who help us along our journey, along our path. We welcome the spirits from above. And we welcome the center. We welcome our heart space, bringing our hands to our hearts, or placing over our hearts. We welcome our higher self, the true, grandest version of who we are. May we be fully embodied in our physical temples. May we be honoring our spiritual selves that reside in this physical container. We welcome her gifts, their light, their wisdom, their strength, their courage, and their knowingness, their connection with divine source energy and their connection with the earth energy, knowing that they know exactly what to do, how to reside, how to move forward, all the answers within. We welcome our higher selves. And with all 7 directions now present, this is a sacred circle, a sacred container to do the work of today. Thank you all so much for participating.
Beautiful. So knowing as we're coming back from that meditation, from that beautiful experience, knowing that that practice of calling in the directions and tuning into these orientations that we have in this physical world and also honoring the upper and lower worlds, knowing that this practice is a really sacred shamanic tradition of connecting with, just like we talk about how the chakras have an emotional component and a physiological component, and it presents this framework for our healing, so too do the directions. They all have a primary spirit animal and an element and an emotion and a movement, an energetic signature to them that we can use to help orient ourselves within our healing, to help call upon those spirits when we are working through our own processes and when we are looking for that support or for that wisdom or for that guidance. We can call in the directions and we can create this really beautiful sacred space where, whether it's for learning or for meditating or for healing or for whatever it is that you're doing, we have this really beautiful container where we are now surrounded by our guides, by our spirit team, by our loving ancestors, by those healing energies that are here to support us, by nature itself and the energy that comes with that and the healing that's available for us there. And so knowing that this is a really big part of the course, right? It's not just calling in the directions before class, although we do that again because it is such a beautiful and powerful practice, but it's also how we have laid out the course and how we've decided to orient the course in honoring these different energies that we're going to be working with.
Yes, it was a big download. That's what it was. It was a big download of like, okay, we are going to be moving into Soul Rising, which is a 4-month container. And with each month, we'll be orientating to a specific direction. And we're going to start in the East. East is the rising sun. This is the new opportunities. This is the opening of new chapters. This is where traditionally, every, most indigenous cultures see the rising sun and go, this is the new beginnings. This is where we start. And so in our program, we're starting in the East. Now, the East is the element for East is air. It's all about perspective and it's about your heart center. So think about your lungs. This is where we breathe, right? And so we're taking this information of the directions and going, how can I orientate it within my body? This would be heart chakra, right? So here and the very beginning of the coursework, we're going to start in the East. And then the second month, we're going to be moving to the South. Now, the South is very fiery. It's hot. It's very expressive. It's the solar plexus energy, right? And so, where's the fire in our body? It's the solar plexus. And the solar plexus is right below your sternum and right above your belly button, but right where your ribs come together. And this is our fire. This is who we are. This is how we express ourselves. And so, the second month of our time in Soul Rising, we're going to be focusing on solar plexus. And then we're going to move over to West. West is that water. It is the flow. It is the childlike play. It is the inner child work. It is the sacral chakra. And so in sacral chakra, we're going to be doing a lot of inner child work. We're going to be in that third month. We're going to really be diving into the depths, the deep depths that we may not have looked at before. And this is shadow work. So in the third month of the program, we're going to be in the West energy. And then we're going to, at the very end of our program for the fourth month of Soul Rising, this will be the North. The North is very nurturing. It's very nourishing. It's the earth energy. It's the time of rest. It is the mountains and it is the earth. And so the earth is our root chakra. So in our program, we will move from the heart and we will end at the root and grow our roots to find new foundations in our life, new steps forward. Izzy, what would you like to add to that?
I love looking at the symbolism of the directions, not just from this energetic perspective and all of the amazing support that we have coming from each, but also just looking at it as that cycle of our own healing and this representation of our own process. So, we're starting in the East where there's that phrase of like the winds of change are coming. And if we look at, the trees and flowers, they're pollinated because a lot of times of the wind and they're spread because of that air that's moving. And if we didn't have that oxygen, we wouldn't be able to breathe, to live, to have this life. And I love the symbolism of the fact that it's, it closes off that circle. Yeah, we end in north, but where is that oxygen coming from? Where's that life force coming from? It's coming from the north with those trees. And so looking at these phases that we go through in our life where we kind of reach an ending, and that ending flows right into a beginning. And so we have that winds of change coming with us in the East and moving us forward and blowing out the cobwebs. And then we move right into the South with that fire and burning away the things that no longer serve us, burning away the remnants of who we used to be that are no longer in our highest good. And, if you've ever seen a fire, you're left with all of this dust and this kind of residue. And so as we move into the West, then we have these waters that are washing us clean, that are
Mm.
helping us really step into being that clear vessel, really guiding us into going back into the deep. Now that we've had this big, transformation, this big metamorphosis in the South with that fire and burning things away. Now we're able to settle into it and we're able to go deeper and we're able to see ourselves in that clarity, in that water, that depth that we're being called into. And then finally stepping into the North where we're able to integrate it all. We're able to ground ourselves in who are we now that we've gone through this incredible process, that we've gone through this journey. If you've heard of the hero's journey is a big one. My fiance right now loves Lord of the Rings, and so we talk about this all the time, like that process that you see in a lot of fantasy novels even, or just this archetypal story that we have of the hero's journey and that process, that cycle that they go through, and ending in being able to reflect back and look at how far you've come and ground yourself in who you are now. Integrate all of those pieces, bring them back into one unified whole so that as you step out of the program, you've completed one full cycle. You've completed one full round through all of the directions, connecting with the upper and lower worlds through the shamanic work that we do during the process to really walk out of it in that centered space of alignment and embodiment in who you truly are. And that's one of the top takeaways from the program. And that's part of why we have it laid out like this, is because it really is that goal at the end of it, is to be able to come back, to look back and say, I thought I was where I was supposed to be, but no, this is who I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm supposed to be. We had a student recently tell me that she didn't feel like a complete person until she graduated the program and was able to look back. And that just, I loved that. That was such a humbling thing to hear, but it was also like, we're this is why we have these programs, so that at the end of it, you walk away and you go, "Oh, I remember now. I remember who I was. I know who I'm supposed to be. I am who I'm supposed to be, and I am rooted in that," just like the trees that we, exit through in the north. And so I love the symbolism of bringing this into the program and really guiding students and guiding the course through that process as, again, another framework through which we can understand and conceptualize our healing.
Yes, absolutely. And so then we can break it down even further. So each module, each month, each direction that we're focusing on typically has 4 weeks. And so in that 4 weeks, there's elements within the coursework that we want to bring to the table, to bring learnings to, and that we have really found over time and time again that they connect together. And so that those are the chakras. We've talked about that. Like we're really focusing on that energy of the element that's represented in that direction. We have mindset work, we have the Reiki education, and then we have the shamanic work. And so there's all these pieces that fit together, and we really are invested in making sure that everyone has these components and that they blend so beautifully together as they move through the program so that the personal self-development work is happening right along the spiritual development work. Because at the end of the program, if you're like, okay, I feel complete. I know who I am. I'm a solid individual. I know how I want to speak my truth. I know where I want to move in my life. It's easier to go, okay, do I want to take the next 4-month program and learning how to be a practitioner, learning how to offer shamanic tools to other? We need to lay this groundwork first so that you know this is my energy. This is who I am. So when you're in a client setting and you're picking up on things, you know, this is me and this is them, and knowing the difference.
And so looking at all of these different components that we have is, again, giving us yet another framework through which we can understand ourselves and our healing. And knowing that, something that I'm incredibly passionate about when it comes to teaching, and it's something that we really uphold at Reiki Cafe, is understanding that everyone has their own process. Everyone has their own journey. Everyone has their own way of understanding themselves and understanding the world. And that's part of why we have so many different components of the course, because there are going to be things that just click. There's gonna be that moment where you're sitting at your kitchen table and you're thinking to yourself, my gosh, I didn't know that the chakras were connected to organs and to emotions, and it all makes sense now. Like that moment of understanding, of having that aha where suddenly you can see yourself so much more clearly, is so incredibly powerful. And that's part of why we have these different components, because everyone's going to resonate with a different one. And when we can uplift ourselves on all levels, no part of us gets left behind. No part of us goes unseen or unheard or unwitnessed. Even those parts of ourselves that we subconsciously like to kind of set aside, close the closet door on, not look at. We can bring those forward in a way that is loving and gentle and kind, but still allows them to be heard, allows us to understand why they're there and come into that acceptance and that compassion so that they can grow with us, right? I think we all know that feeling of those little parts of ourselves that we kind of leave behind sometimes when we're on our healing, that we just kind of put to the side. And this course is part of it, is stepping back into honoring all of you, acknowledging all of you, healing all of you, and coming back into that ability to reunite with yourself is really what it comes down to at the end of the day. And all of these different modalities are tools that you're getting in your tool belt to help you do that. So not only are you getting the theory and the practice and the spiritual experience, but you're also walking away with every single week 2, 3, 4 tools that you can put in your healing toolbox that you can carry with you so that the next time you need one, whatever situation it is, whether you're really anxious or you get triggered or you're not quite sure what's happening or you feel ungrounded or you're having a difficult conversation with somebody, it doesn't matter. Suddenly you have this entire healing toolkit of so many different tools that you can then pull from because you know them inside and out. You've spent so much time working with these that you know exactly what you need in exactly which situation, and you know exactly what it's going to do for you. And you have that confidence of being like, this is what I need today. I had a student once who we were talking about the idea of having a specific toolkit and a specific tool for each situation. And we were talking about how it's like the difference between a stapler and a pair of scissors. A lot of times when we're on our healing journey, we have this stapler, this spiritual tool that we've been given, and we're like, yes, this is it. It's going to help me with all the things. And then you go to use it in a situation and it doesn't work. And you're like left trying to cut the piece of paper with a stapler and it's not working and you don't know why. And that just leads to those feelings of frustration. And maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm not enough. It starts that spiral. We've all had that experience when really all you needed was a different tool. All you needed was a pair of scissors to be able to cut the paper, to be able to do what you needed to do. And it's not that there's anything wrong. It's not that you're missing anything. It's just there's another tool out there for you. And so this course really covers all of them, so many of them, so that you never are left with that feeling of, I don't know what to do. You are always able to stand in your power and say, that's the one I need right now, or this is the one I need right now. And to quote Christine, that you're going to be okay, that you have that tool, that you have that knowledge, that you've done this work, that you've done the journey. And that's an incredibly empowering feeling.
All right. I'm guessing who wants to actually see, let's see the thing. You guys ready? Okay. That's when I'm getting hands raised. Okay. Beautiful. Let me go ahead and screen share. This is our outline. So we start our Soul Rising Shamanic Reiki on Sunday. We do have a finalized call schedule at this point. So we will add that in towards the end as well. So if you're like curious, like I want to join, but I don't know when the calls are, we have that information available for you. But this is our first module. We do have a week of orientation next week, and it's really so that everyone can learn learn what we use for technology, learn the platform, know how to get on a Zoom call, know how to get on the Google Calendar so that you can see the calls. Like we want to give space to let people become orientated. And in that, there is chakra, metaphysical anatomy, and physiology. There's also energetics of time so that the people who are like, I don't have enough time. I'm like, actually, there's a way you can bend time. Let me teach you how to do that first. So there's a couple of things in orientation that aren't included on this first month. So our first module really begins in about a week. And in that week, what we're really hoping to accomplish is a mixture of this. So it's not all, this is 1 month, is this of our first module in air and east. And so we're going to welcome all of our students in, and we're going to kind of dive into the basics. Let's like give you an overview. What is shamanism? What is animism? What are spirit animals? What are power animals? What's Reiki? What are chakras? Let's give the basics. And so if you already know this information, it's a lovely review, and that's okay. And then we can go a little deeper. And in that process of going deeper, we're looking at heart chakra because we're in the east, we're in air. And so the heart chakra, we have some really beautiful content. And so it's not like you're going to get, it's all kind of, this is all scrambled. So each week you get a little taste of everything, a little bit of the chakras, a little bit of the mindset, a little bit of the Reiki, a little bit of shamanic. And it's so that you're moving through all of the content and feeling held by all of those different pieces. And also we need time to do some of the shamanic parts. So whereas the heart chakra might be learning and going through your workbook and doing some journal prompts, those types of things, versus when we start doing shamanic journeys, I need you to watch that video and then come to class ready to learn how to to dive in. It's very much like watch the video, come to class, we're getting started. You're going to go on your first solo journey, and I'm holding space for that, or Izzy's holding space for that, or Chantel's holding space for that. So All of these pieces blend really lovely together. We know this from past experience, and we're letting you have access to the information so that you don't get overwhelmed. We're kind of like hiding some of the future stuff. Like, okay, this is this week. Let's focus on 1 week at a time. Izzy, what else do you have to add to that?
So, in all of this, in each of the modules, you have pre recorded videos on all of the topics. And then you also have workbooks because we understand that everybody has a different learning style, right? Some people learn by listening, some people learn by watching, some people learn by reading, some people learn by writing. And so, we've created the program so that no matter how you learn best, no matter how you like to interact with the content, we've got you covered. And that's really beautiful because what we do is we have these pre-recorded videos. We have these workbooks that you work through prior to class, and then you bring it to class. And each class is focused on a particular topic, a particular aspect of the work from that week. And so you have chances to ask questions, to go a little deeper, to practice, to connect with other people and see what questions they have. And so we have this really beautiful blend of self-study and group learning. And what it does is it allows you to not only get into the content yourself, get into, what are the chakras and what is Reiki and what is the heart chakra and understanding all of this content. And, looking at in module one, we go into the life balance wheel for our mindset, which is this really beautiful framework that looks at all the different areas of our lives and helps us identify imbalances, places that we want to expand, things that we want to improve, and gives us tools to be able to do that. Maybe you're doing the shamanic journey work and you're starting to learn, okay, what is a journey? How do I do it? Let's try my first one. You have this really beautiful blend of, okay, I'm going to take this information into myself. I'm going to go through that process of bringing it in through my crown chakra, all the way down into my heart where I know it. And then we go through the process of on the live calls, then we're sharing that out again. And we're saying, these are my questions. This is what I didn't understand. This is how I'm wanting to show up in this work. And in the calls together, we bring it all the way down into the root chakra where you're integrating it, you're embodying it, you're fully understanding it instead of just kind of being left with, well, this was really good information, but now what? I don't know what to do. And so we have that dual perspective in the coursework to help you bring that information all the way from just this understanding into an embodied knowing in yourself so that you're able to not only understand those tools but also work with them and really apply them in your own practice and in your own life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then we move on over to the South for our second month, our second module together, where we're going to be really exploring that fire. And it really is a fire. It's burning away of what no longer serves you. It's cleaning out the closets, both physically and energetically. And so we're doing a lot of work on how do I release the story, the attachments, the old beliefs, so that I can fully let them go and really embody who I am and who I want to become. And so we're learning tools and techniques to do just that, as well as receiving your Reiki level 1 attunement, some information, and your like Reiki level 1 training. And so once again, like if this is a review, that's great. You're going to learn it. And I feel like every time you step into a Reiki class, you pick up what you need to hear. And we're going to be teaching it from a different angle. Um, like I love bringing in the pieces that I learned while in Japan on my pilgrimage, whereas Izzy has developed her own creative Reiki energy, like her own Reiki modality style that's really beautiful. And so these pieces are going to be integrated in, and it's really about like not saying this is right or wrong or this one's good or this one's better. It's about what feels good to you. We're giving you um, that ability to claim what is working for you. I think so often it's like, do it this way and only this way. Don't ever do it differently. And we have a very different, softer, more welcoming approach of like, well, what works for your energy? So we're coming at this with a very open mind, and we want to invite you to do the same. And then as the first module on the shamanic, we're visiting the lower world. Well, the second module, we're visiting the upper worlds. So the first module, we're meeting our power animals. The second module, we're meeting our spirit guides and learning how to do chakra spinning, which we're going to do in a workshop tomorrow as well. So if you want to learn that one early, you're welcome to come.
And so knowing in all of this content, one of the questions that we get asked a lot is, well, how much deeper into all of these things do you go than what you cover on your podcast, right? Because a
Sure.
lot of you guys have found us through our podcast, Cafe Radio, and we have some amazing, amazing content on there. And we love getting those messages from you guys of like, wow, this was such a big aha moment. And I think a lot of times, especially when it comes to things like the chakras or mindset or Reiki, there's kind of this feeling of if you go this deep on the podcast, what could possibly be left to be in your courses? And it's a great question. And what I think is so amazing about programs like this and how we bring this forward is that there's so much more to it than even what we share on the podcast. There is so much depth. One of the analogies that we use again and again is it's like our podcast is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just barely scratching the surface, and we go even deeper. And one of the things we hear from students all the time, one of my favorite things that we hear from students in the course, especially about the chakras, is they're like, I thought I knew the chakras, and then I took this course and there was so much more. And that's the kind of feedback that we love getting from our students, because it really highlights the depth that we bring to this knowledge. And not only are we teaching you the modalities, but we're also teaching you like the background and how it's happened in our own personal practices and our own intuitive understandings of things, and really going deep and finding all the different nooks and crannies of each modality and each aspect of the course. And when you come with your questions, then it's like finding your own nooks and crannies in the content and going into what do you need to go deeper in, what questions do you have. And so really it's, I feel like I always tell people it's like the podcast times 10. Like it doesn't even
It
touch
d
what we do
Yeah,
in the course.
it's like times 100. Like, I really do I use that analogy often, like, we're just offering the tip of the iceberg. Like, I love that analogy because once you actually see what an iceberg is and see how massive it is underneath the surface, that's what we're doing in the coursework. We save the best for this program, for our paid programs, because we get to walk with you on that journey. As a listener, you're not at the same availability to do the work as someone who's in a course like this, a program like this. So, and then we get to come on over to water and play. In the West, we get to rinse off all of the work that we have done over in solar plexus. And we really start to come to the place of going, how's our inner child? This is when we start really diving into that shadow work where we're having the ability to identify, accept, and release our triggers, our traumas, recognize those limiting beliefs and how to heal them, and honor the healing process. We're really going to look for the inner child and having a balanced relationship with our inner child. And that might seem like a really abstract concept to you right now, but as we get into the coursework, you'll be like, "Oh, I get it." Because so often it's what happened in our childhood. What did our parents say? What did the teacher say? What did our grandparents say? What did the cultural and society, you know, um, beliefs that were put upon us in childhood that has created our self-sabotaging behaviors, that has created our lack of self-worth, or created our unavailability to love ourselves, or whatever it may be. So we're really doing some essential core healing work in the water. We're diving in deep. And then we're adding in this really lovely support from the sacral chakra, from the Reiki, and learning how to continue our shamanic practice to meet our inner child, to develop our sacred garden, to meet our teacher in the upper world. So it's just a really beautiful place where we're doing a lot of healing work between solar plexus and sacral in these 2 months. And this is where transformation occurs before we head on over to the north and we really start to do the integration.
And so in the north, we're looking at, we're diving into that root. We're integrating everything like we were talking about at the start of the call. We're really looking at, now that we've done all of this healing work, where's our foundation? What are we really solid in? How are we going to carry this information forward and start to bring all of this spiritual, physical, emotional, energetic healing that we've done back down, bring it into a grounded place where now it's not just, we're not in that process, we're not kicked up like we have been in sacral and solar, but we're really bringing it down. We're rooting it down. And so we're learning about the root chakra. We're really looking at how your thoughts create your reality and starting to look at how can you take ownership for your reality? How can you take responsibility of your life, whether that's, from a law of attraction perspective or just from a psychological perspective or from a moving beyond your trauma perspective or whatever it is, whatever is resonating for you here of how you're going to step into your power, how you're going to really stand firm in your truth, like that tree that we have in the north of just standing there, being present. And then we're going to look at, we're going to dive into, like Christine was mentioning, creative Reiki, which is its intuitive form of Reiki that we've developed at ReikiCafe University that helps us really look at what is Reiki for me? How is it showing up for me? How am I using it in my life? Leaning into our intuition, helping ourselves really connect to our intuition and feel into that intuitive knowing and that inner wisdom that we all have, and giving you access to that, giving you the ability to connect with that in a really tangible way. And then we're going to take it even further in our shamanic training. We're going to look at things like how can we connect to nature? We do journeys to things like journeying to the spirit of the moon, journeying to a loving ancestor, journeying to the spirit of winter was one that we just did with our students. These nature-based journeys that help us really understand the physical world around us so much deeper. We're going to look at things like what are the shamanic tools that we use, things like the drum and the rattle and the sage and the feather, all of these shamanic tools that we have, cord cutting, etc., crystals, all these things that we can use in our shamanic practice to continue our healing, to continue that process of learning and growing. We're going to look at energetic cords and cord cutting and things like that that are really important, but we have to have that solid foundation for before we dive in and we go even deeper. We take that next step of looking at, okay, you've done the work, you've gone through the process, you've gotten the content, you've done this entire amazing hero's journey to get to where you are now. What's next for you? What's next for you? Not just in general, but you specifically. What do you need now? What is your next cycle going to look like? What's that next step going to be for you? And that's where, we finish and we acknowledge this amazing process that you've been on through the entirety of this course. And we really take time to look at what still needs to solidify? What other questions do you have? What still feels a little hazy so we can clarify that? We can clear that up and ground it back in. So by the end of the program, you are fully standing in all of this knowledge and all of this truth. Hmm? Christine, you're muted, my friend.
Yes, absolutely. It's really beautiful how it's all come together and how we blend all of these pieces so that you're doing some really deep inner healing work and really learning how to step into your own power, your own energy, and then deciding for yourself, am I content with the self-healing work that I've done? I've got all these tools in my toolbox to heal me, or are you wanting to continue to learn more? And so there's more opportunities beyond this program. We have a 4-month practitioner training, and then we have beyond that another 4-month advanced training. So in a way you can look at it like a level 1, level 2, and level 3, but it really is, we're continuously meeting our students where they're at. I have people who have graduated for the advanced who are like, what else do you got? And I'm like, okay, well, let me think about it. There's always more to learn, and our students tend to stay with us because they enjoy the way we teach and how we offer the programs, and it's just a beautiful relationship that we develop. And so I'm really excited. I see so many people who are on tonight who are going to be joining us in the program. So I'm really excited to have you.
Yeah, so each module, all of that content that you saw that is in module 1, we've broken it up into 4 weeks. So each week you get that week's videos, and it's probably only 2 or 3 hours outside of the live call time of watching the videos and working through the workbook. And then you work on that in your own time. They're all pre-recorded. We have the workbooks that you read, and there's journal prompts and things, and then you bring it to class. And so you're only required to come to 1 call a week. So in total, the time commitment for the course is 2 to 4 hours a week, I would say, maybe more like 3 to 4, depending on how deep you wanna go, because the thing about this course is you get as much out of it as you put in, but the beauty of that is if you have a tighter schedule, you have access to these materials forever. So you can go back and dive in as many times as you want.
And it really is a tribute to all the different learning um, preferences. Like some people really want a workbook. I am not a workbook person at all. Like I don't want to read it. I don't want to read it. I don't want to write in it. I will scan it for information, but I want to watch the video. I'm going to do my learning through watching the video and having conversations with my mentors. Like that's how I learn. So we're kind of really going, how do you learn best? What do you know about yourself? And we want you to utilize the tools that are available for your best learning, right? And so there are some students that they want to do it all, which is fantastic. They want to go through that workbook with, read every paragraph 5 times and fill it all out. Fantastic. Go for it. That's fantastic. And I'm the type of person I would rather watch the video 3 or 4 times. Just run it in the background while I'm folding the laundry, and that's okay too. So it really is understanding like, who are you and what do you need? Some people are going to pick up that shamanic journey really quick, and others, it's going to be like, no, you specifically, I need you to watch the guided meditations. I want you to practice quieting your mind. How are we coming into our heart space and instead of letting our logical mind continuously overriding what we're feeling? Right. So everyone kind of has this. This is why we like keeping the program small so that we can kind of help you figure out what you're going to need to become a really phenomenal shamanic journeyer for yourself. Right. It's that monkey mind. We need to kick the monkey mind out. And that's going to be a different journey for every single person. Some people will start a shamanic journey and they'll fall asleep every single time. But there are other people who are like, wow, I just took off, but I don't know how to get back in my body. Like, this is the beauty of working in a group setting, is that everyone's going to come in with their different stuff. And so the biggest advice I have for new students is don't compare yourself to what other people's journeys and their experiences is like, because we're focused on you. And so we don't need to compare, because it's like they'll have their own stuff that they're going to work through. Everyone's got stuff that's going to come up in the course at some point or another. And this might be easy, but something else might not be. So we're not going to compare. And we're always, as the mentors of the program, going, what is it? How can we help you so that you can be successful in what we're trying to teach? So we modify, we tweak, we give suggestions. And that's why those live calls are so important, so that we have the opportunity to do that. I really look forward to seeing folks on the welcome call on Sunday. If you are interested in this program, if you're watching or you're catching the replay, know that we're available. If you want to chat with us, just hit us up on Facebook Messenger. We're around to take any other questions. And all of the information is on our website. If you want a copy of this course outline so you can make educated decisions, there's a lot of people who are just like, I just need more information. Like, we've got it. We're happy to support you in that. And we will look forward to seeing you in class on Sunday. That was the last thing I did want to let you guys know when our call schedule actually is. Our call schedule next week is not our typical call schedule. So what I'm going to be announcing is what our normal call schedule will be on Monday evenings. That's 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. my time. So 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. Eastern. And then on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Mountain, 10 a.m. Central, and 11 Eastern. So those will be our normal call times that we will offer each week. And the cool thing about the calls is that they're duplicated. Like, if you come to a Monday call, we're having the same call on Wednesday, so that if schedule only allows you to come to one call a week, we're going to meet your needs for that. So the expectation is you come to one call a week. And if you can come to more and you want to come to more, you're welcome to, but it's not required. You don't have to. It's once again going into what's your learning style. If you want to come to all the calls, come to all the calls. If you want to come to one call a week and that's what your schedule allows while you're watching the videos and using the Facebook group chat, like, that's fantastic. So know that that's the call schedule: Monday evenings, Wednesday evenings, and Thursday mornings. And And that really was like, we spent a lot of time putting a call schedule together to ensure that every single person can come to at least one call a week. That's like my deep commitment. Like, I spend hours and hours working with everyone's schedules. So hopefully, for those who are listening, who are interested in joining us, it works for you too. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks everyone for coming out tonight.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm like round of applause for everybody that showed up tonight. That's I just
Mhm.
it's amazing, and I love getting to see all of you and see your faces and interact with you and like give you this little taste of what it's like to be in a class with us and feel like even just from the start of the call to now how much more connected you feel and how much more aware you feel and how much more just like present you are in this amazing energy that we've gotten to share today. So thank you all for showing up and doing the work and being open to soul rising and being open to yourself and open to this journey. That's amazing. There was a study done a while ago that showed that like 96% of personal development efforts fail because after about a month people stop trying, and how it's only like 4% of people who really, really step up and do the work and show up and keep with it. And I love that like we're sitting in a room right now full of people in that 4%. I think that's amazing. So thank you for showing up and being part of this group with us. Let us know if you have any questions. If you're listening to this live or on the replay and you're interested in joining the Soul Rising course, we'll put the link in the chat or in the show notes. And yeah, we're so grateful for all of you and so excited for this to start on the new moon too, which is so exciting, the start of a new cycle. I love it.
Absolutely. We'll see you there. Take care and have a great night, everyone.